Hi, this is Geoff Hohwald, and what I'm going to discuss today is about what's going on with people that want to learn to play the banjo. Because typically, what happens is they'll get a banjo, and hopefully, it's set up properly. In many places, it's hard to find somebody who knows how to adjust a banjo. So let's assume your banjo's adjusted, it's in tune and everything. Then the question is, what do you do? Now, most people seem to be going to YouTube and go to the internet and get lessons, which primarily are song lessons. All right. Now, let me talk about the things that are lacking from this. The two things that you need to do to sound good on the banjo: you have to have good timing, and you have to have good technique. All right. Now, it would be very helpful if you have a good teacher. Now, in many areas of the country, it's hard to find a teacher. They just don't exist. So, once again, you may try to purchase a book. Now, when you learn something and you go to college, you go to school, you go to trade school, they have spent years and years, and many authors have collaborated, and they have come up with a method that we call sequential learning. And all that means is that you learn one thing, and then that builds on the next thing. So when you go to step 3, you have all the information that you need to be successful in doing step 3, okay? Let me tell you this. Most of the books written in folk music, this includes mandolin, banjo, you can see videos. It's not sequential. It's just bits of knowledge here and there. And if you stick with it long enough, you will eventually learn, okay? If you can get this written in sequence, you'll learn much more efficiently and much faster, okay? And a lot of you probably have seen this book I wrote called The Banjo Primer, and that took 40 years to write that book, and we've rewritten it 5 times, and that is actually the only book that's written in a very efficient sequential way, okay? And it's perfect up through the first 6 songs, and then it has a glossary which plays other songs. The remaining songs are not in sequential order, okay? But hopefully, by learning all the basics in the first part of the book, you'll be able to jump around and learn those songs, all right? So I've been writing books for 41 years. I've taught about 5,000 lessons in my career. Now, in case in point, if you're a full-time teacher and you taught 40 students a week, that'd be 2,000 a year, so 40 years would be 80,000. So I've taught enough to experiment, but I'm not a full-time teacher. I, however, have done about 85 banjo camps. And, excuse me, the latest camp that we've been doing had 6 students and 3 instructors, which was revolutionary because most camps have 1 instructor for every 5 to 10 students. Okay. And this worked out really well. Then when the pandemic hit, we went to 2 instructors and 2 students. And the results were absolutely amazing. And we do it for 2 days. And we also provide lodging for the students, so they have their own private room, own private bath. Nobody goes in your bathroom. Nobody goes in your bedroom, okay? So that's worked out phenomenally. But let's talk about the 2 things that you need in order to play, and one of those is timing. Now, the simplest way to instill timing, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but it works like a charm, is you get a metronome. I happen to have this metronome, and you set it at, I've got it set for 114 now, and when that thing clicks, you just tap your foot, and you do that for 10 minutes a day. And you'll do that for about 2 weeks, and you'll start to see some change. Now, since I don't have a picture of my foot or a camera for my foot, a foot camera, I'm just going to clap just to demonstrate this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You just do that for 10 minutes a day, and then you speed it up. 4. And so on and so forth. Now, after about 2 weeks, either you'll notice that you feel much more comfortable with the timing, or your friends will say, wow, you're playing with some really good timing there. And you would continue that on for maybe 4 or 5 months. And the more you do it, the better your timing will become. Okay. The second thing you can do is take your right hand and play a roll. Now, in this case, we're going to play the 5th string, 3rd string, 1st string. Now, the purpose of this video is not to teach you to play the banjo, because if you want to do that, you'd be better served to buy the Banjo Primer book, because it's already done, you know. So long story short, but let me give you this example of a simple exercise. So we're going to play 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 1, 5. Then we're going to pause. So here's what it sounds like. Now, if you want to do it on your own, you just turn on the metronome again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, incidentally, the reason I'm looking away from the video is there's a slight delay, and if I look at the video and look at my hand, I'm going to actually be off, okay? Now, if you do that for about 10 minutes a day and you increase during the practice time, once again, in about 2 weeks, you're going to notice that your hand's stronger, it's more relaxed, your hand position is good, your timing's better, the tone that comes out of your banjo is better, okay? You can do that with metronome. Now, if you want to have something a little more formal, a little more structured, we have a book called Warm-Up Series, and it has a DVD in it, and all it does is plays this thing for about 2 hours at different speeds, different clusters, and it's just a structured way where you can turn it on, as I say, for 10 minutes a day for 2 weeks, and at the end of 2 weeks, you're going to see incredible difference. And then you should keep it going for about 2 months, and that'll really help you a lot. So that has to do with timing. Now let's talk about how to learn, and let's talk about technique. Now what technique is simply playing the notes and the music clearly, and that's it, okay? Now, most people, when they learn a song, they learn to play. Instead of doing exercises, they start playing the song from start to finish. So if I were playing Cripple Creek, they would play it something like this. And then they would go to the next part. Now I'm playing it as though I'm a beginner. And then they go. Okay. So they start at the beginning. They play through the whole song. Now, that really doesn't work very well. Okay, so what makes more sense would be to take each section or each measure. So in the case of Cripple Creek, I would be going, okay. Now that's the first measure. I may do it in 2 exercises. The first being, and then go. Actually, I might divide it into 3. So we got, that's the slide and a pinch. Then we go, then we play 1 note. Then we play 2 notes. Okay, once again, this isn't a teaching thing, but in this one measure, we have 2 different techniques, okay? So we have to practice slide, and then we have a pinch. Okay, a pinch and a slide. Okay, now we go to the next measure, which has a chord. Now, the way we can practice chord shapes is we shake our hand, put the chord down, shake it. Now, a lot of times you'll start with the chord first, then shake it, then put, okay, that's one thing. The second thing that this measure has is a roll. So we make the chord and we do 5, 2, 1, 5, and then another pitch. So the second measure is Now, once again, with each of these measures, you get out the metronome. 3, 4, so. And then after you played it for a while, then you speed it up. And then you might get it to. Okay, so you practice and you get that, then you practice this over and over, and then the next lick happens to be a hammer-on, and you do, and you practice that over and over. So you're thinking, oh, I've learned this, I've learned this. Okay, once you've learned the 2 exercises, there's also a transition. You're not done yet, because you have to get from, okay, there's your left hand. Then you have to get from here, lift it up, move it over here, make the shape of the chord, and put it down. That's a transition. So once you've played the first and then the second one, then you have to play them together. And so on and so forth. Now, when you're playing and you're learning it by starting the song and playing it from beginning to end, all of a sudden you're going, here's what it looks like. So you play this, let's say 100 times. Then you think, actually, no, you don't play it 200 times. You just play, you go. Then you play this. Not that well, obviously. But you're having some problems with the first part, so you're going. So long story short, you keep stopping and playing this over. Then you play the second one, and you're playing the first. You played the first one maybe 100 times, and the second one 50 times. Because every time you mess up this, you immediately go back to this instead of staying here. Does that make sense? So now you play this. Measure 1, measure 2. Then you come to measure 3. So if you're playing them in sequence, what usually happens a lot of times, you'll play this one. You might play this one and mess it up, and then you go back and you play it over and over. So at the end of a few days, you've played this 400 times, this 200 times, and this 100 times, okay? So you're wondering, well, how come the beginning of the song sounds so much better? That's because you played this 400 times and you've only played this 100 times, okay? So that's why you isolate each measure, play it over and over again. All right, so once you have got your roll down and your hands are limber and you have started to learn songs, then you work on your timing, and then you work on your technique by breaking your songs into parts, okay? And you just apply that to everything, and that will get you to have good timing and good technique. And that's really the point of this video. So if you want some of these materials, I guess it's kind of a commercial. You can get the Banjo Primer either through Amazon. You can get up the warm-up drills, which is a purple book. Look up my name on Amazon. If you get it on Amazon, you will not get a DVD. You'll get downloadable. If you order the Banjo Primer through Amazon, you will get the discs that come with it. It has a DVD, and then it has 2 practice discs that play the songs along with the full band. That's it. If you have any questions, you can contact me. My email is Geoff, but it's spelled Geoff, Geoff at C as in cat, V as in Victor, L as in Larry, S as in Sam.com. Geoff at CVLS.com. Just write me, or you can also go to Banjo Compass and order these, whatever you want. And if you have a question about this, once again, just email me, and I'm interested in just perfecting this particular video. So if it's not clear and you have a question, I'll just go ahead and shoot whatever part you don't understand again, and eventually we'll get it to where it makes sense to everybody. Well, you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.